So Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated had come to GamesCom with a whole bunch of new information. What are 10 details we learned? Let's discuss right now.
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
A quick shout out to WillG8686. This is the fan art of Metal Duckles they drew for me, and I really like this one because he almost looks like he should be like using a lasso or something, you know, kind of like how Sandy would lasso like the Texas hooks in Battle for Bikini Bottom. So thank you so much. He kind of looks like a cowboy here, which I'm really digging. I love this aesthetic. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Anyway, hello there, beautiful human. My name is RidersDX, and welcome to my channel, where today we're gonna break down everything that we learned about Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated in terms of the developer interviews that we got during GamesCom. And so I'm actually planning like at least 2 videos about the coverage with like GamesCom, and this is one of them. This is just like focusing on the interviews that we got and specific things that the developer said about the game. But I will have another video later on that's actually going to analyze the gameplay itself. I'm gonna look for specific details in Jellyfish Fields that y'all might have missed. So please subscribe to the channel if you want to see that, because that's definitely something I'm really excited to do. But for now, I'm gonna talk about some really important stuff in terms of like the game's features, and yeah, this is really interesting stuff. We learned a lot, so I gotta go through it. So the way that this video is actually gonna be structured, by the way, is that I do have 10 bullet points I want to go through, but I also am gonna include a lot of clips of the actual developer interviews, just so you all can have more context as to what they were actually saying, and then we can kind of discuss it and talk about our opinions about it. And yeah, it's just gonna be really fun. So it's just gonna be interspread between the whole like video. So number 1, and this is a huge bombshell that like I actually was not expecting, but the voice recordings are actually going to stay exactly the same, at least if this quote is what I think it is saying.
Die Voice Recordings von damals, wir machen auf Deutsch machen wir komplett neue Voice Recordings mit den ganzen Sprechern aus der Serie. Auf Englisch hast du einfach von damals wirklich auch alle Sprecher von Mr. Krabs, von Spongebob und so weiter und so fort.
But the producers said that we would have all the original voice recordings, which includes Mr. Krabs. And so I know this is gonna have a lot of mixed opinions from people, and on one hand I like it because it's like the voice recordings are really great and the quality is still pretty good. It's not like it's Nintendo 64 quality, and so it's definitely something that would be passable, I would say, in this day and age in terms of this game. However, at the same time, I think it would have been really cool to kind of hear like the voice actors' new takes on these lines. I think it would have been really great to just hear like the voice clips in like higher quality, and it especially would have been great to hear Clancy Brown as Mr. Krabs. That was kind of the main reason I wanted them to redo the voice acting, is because I wanted to see Clancy Brown take his rightful role as Mr. Krabs in this game. And so if they're not planning to re-record the lines, which I guess makes sense because it's all the same voice actors, so I highly doubt it would sound different, then I hope that they at least bring Clancy Brown in to voice Mr. Krabs, because it's not like all of like the voice clips of the original Mr. Krabs in the original game are high quality. There are some clips here and there that don't sound very good at all, and so I think those need some sprucing up anyway. And so I do hope they bring on Clancy Brown to do this, but we don't know. However, they did confirm that Germany is gonna get its own dub with the original voice actors of the German TV show. And so I'm really excited for this actually, because I think German Spongebob is really lit. He's got some really crazy like clips out there, you know, y'all gotta take a look. So
Krusteter Geizkragen, Thaddeus schnurrt sich seit Ewigkeiten bei mir durch und Sie wollen ihn nicht wieder einstellen wie in so einem dämlichen Rüsch!
That's gonna be really great for Germany. The second thing is that this game is being made with the Unreal Engine 4, and just looking at it graphically, you can tell that this is being made by really great graphics engine. And so I think that's great, you know, it really brings out the color and the details of Jellyfish Fields now. And so yeah, being made in Unreal Engine 4, you really can't go wrong with that. And number 3, this is a huge point, but it's talking about cut content. And so obviously we knew that the robot Squidward boss was going to be a thing in this game, but now we have confirmation from the producer that Glove World and Patrick's Dream will be included in this game as well.
Einige Inhalte mit rein, die im Original rausgenommen wurden, wie zum Beispiel der Roboter Thaddeus Boss oder das das Level in der Handschuhwelt.
Genau, also das sind eben so diese Kleinigkeiten, wo wir sagen können, gut, da verändern wir das Original nicht, weil ein Meisterwerk tut man nicht ummalen, man macht jetzt der Mona Lisa kein Schnurrbart. aber wir können quasi zusätzlich einfach so quasi Deleted Scenes mäßig, wie bei einer Special Edition, können wir quasi sagen, okay, diesen Roboter Thaddeus-Boss, von dem es damals eine Zeichnung gab, wie der hätte sein sollen, aber er wurde nie gemacht. Und da schauen wir halt, dass wir den so bauen, wie er wahrscheinlich gedacht war. Oder eben die Patricks Traumwelt quasi, die man quasi sogar frei hacken kann im alten Spiel, so ein bisschen, so einen Grobentwurf. Und den bauen wir eben jetzt voll aus.
And that is just crazy, you know, because those are basically completely new levels being put into the game. Now, the producer did say that this was not going to be like integrated into the original experience. It's going to be outside of the main game. They really emphasized wanting to preserve the original experience, and so any cut content is going to be completely separate from the original game. And I think that's a good way of going about it, because otherwise you would have to go into like changing some of the storylines to fit in like a whole nother level and a whole nother boss. And so I think that's a good idea that they're just gonna put it outside the game and just have it be like this extra treat for longtime Battle for Bikini Bottom fans. And number 4, what we got over here is that Horde mode is indeed confirmed to be about destroying tons of enemies. And I know a lot of people said in my previous video where I talked about everything we learned about Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated up to that point, that Horde mode was probably going to be about destroying enemies, and you all were right. It's basically just going to be this co-op mode of destroying tons and tons of robots, which sounds like a lot of fun, so I'm really looking forward to it. Now, another fact I wanted to include with this bullet point is that we may actually get a demo of the multiplayer mode in the future being released to the public, at least if the interview is anything to go by, because they were asked about possible demos for the public in the future, and while they didn't have that much information, this was the only thing that they said could happen. And so
they are also looking for or asking for a public demo. Do you guys know? I mean, I wanted to talk about release and stuff like that in the end, but is there other plans to have maybe at some point a public demo or beta or something out?
Currently, you can play it here, of course. So everybody who's here and who's willing to go through a queue of about 2 to 3 hours currently can play exactly the demo that Andrew is playing here. I don't know if I can't confirm yet any plans for a beta or anything like this. We might, as we have a new multiplayer in the game. So we're keeping the original story campaign as completely as it were. But what we're doing is we're restoring little deleted scenes, if you will, like the Robo-Squidward fight that people know from the concept art, but that was never created. And as well, the longer version of Patrick's Dream, which you could hack into. If you hacked the old game, you could find this broken level that wasn't really playable. But that was, you know, it's enough to see like what they kind of wanted to do. So we're just rebuilding that properly. But that's all, you know, outside of the main experience, which should stay untouched, because you don't draw a mustache on Mona Lisa. And with the multiplayer, I think that might be the first thing where we invite a few more people to play, so we can just see how people like the new Horde mode, where it's just you and a friend, either like this on a couch or via online, and you just go and defeat hordes of robots.
Okay.
As Spongebob, Sandy, or Patrick, whichever you prefer.
I have a feeling if they did say it, then it's likely they're thinking about it, and it may actually happen. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that like come to fruition. At number 5, we got a release date confirmed for next year. But even though it's coming next year, the producer did confirm that we would see more characters and bosses revealed in the next coming months.
Gear, also nächstes Jahr kommt ja auch schon raus. Also wir werden in den Zuge der nächsten Monaten wird es immer wieder neue Einblicke geben, und ich glaube, die Leute werden sich sehr freuen, wenn eins nach dem anderen wenn man dann Patricks auch sieht, weil man kann im Spiel ja 3 Charakter spielen. Du kannst Spongebob spielen, Patrick spielen und Sandy spielen. Je nachdem, welches Level brauchst du wen anderen, um da irgendwie durchzukommen. Und da wird man jetzt dann stückweise sehen, eins nach dem anderen, die ganzen Roboter-Bosse, Roboter Sandy, Roboter Patrick, Roboter Spongebob und so. Ich glaube, das wird den Fans sehr taugen, wenn sie dann sehen, wie die jetzt neu designt sind, so in super High Detail. Und auch für Fans einfach des Genres, also wer 3D-Plattformer mag, auch aus dieser Ära, wo so viel verschiedenes Gameplay ist. Du kannst auf seiner Zunge herumskaten, du kannst dich in einen Ball verwandeln, du kannst mit deiner Unterhose Bungee-Jumping machen und so weiter und so weiter. es ist auch einfach nur ein extrem lustiges Spiel, dass man schnell nimmst den Controller und du verstehst es sofort und du kannst es sofort spielen und es ist lustig. Und wenn du dann noch Spongebob-Fan bist, dann ist es überhaupt die Ultimate Experience.
And so, I know it sucks that the game is coming out next year, but quite frankly, the game looks like it's pretty early in development. I mean, it's a pre-alpha that we got at GamesCom, but the producer did say that we would have more characters and more bosses reviewed in the next coming months, and so I think that's really exciting. I can't wait to see what Patrick and Sandy look like, and I can't wait to see like the Robot Sandy boss, the Robot Patrick boss, and even the Robot Spongebob boss, you know? I kind of hope we get the Robot Spongebob boss, but I kind of doubt that we would because that is like the final boss, and so I feel like that's something they'd want to keep secret. However though, the Robot Spongebob is on the video game box art, so who knows really. At number 6, I found this to be really interesting, but they talked a little bit about deep difficulty spikes in the game and talking about kind of adjusting the difficulty of the game to make it a little bit easier, I guess, but still maintain the challenge.
Obviously, it's a cult classic, so we don't, completely redo anything in a very different way. It's really about the small details that basically just help you play the game in a modern way, but still have the feeling that you had when you played it back then. So this just means that we are working a lot on the camera so that you don't need the right stick that much. You don't need to control the camera much. You can play most of the game just with one, as Andrew is demonstrating here skillfully. You can basically just use the left stick. And these are things that don't actually change the way you perceive the entire game and the dialogues and all the stuff that happened, the way that you remember it. But that just makes it a smoother experience. And the ledge hold is one of those things. Mm-hmm. The original was a tough game. It was a hard game. There's no doubt about it. With some steep difficulty spikes in kelp forest and stuff like this. So these are the things that we're looking at.
I'm a little bit confused by this statement because if I'm being completely honest, I don't think this is a difficult game at all. I mean, maybe I'm just saying this because I played this game so much left and right, but this was one of the only games I could actually complete as a kid. I actually couldn't complete Sonic Heroes, I couldn't complete Sonic Adventure 2, I couldn't complete Sonic Adventure, I couldn't complete like any Crash game. There was a lot of games that I couldn't finish because as a kid, I guess I just couldn't figure it out. But Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom was one of the only games I managed to complete as a very young child. So I don't really understand the fact that they said that there's deep difficulty spikes. I mean, yes, there are some missions, especially in the Marble layer, that are really difficult, but nothing that I feel like warrants like editing of the difficulty. But it is something they're looking into, and so I guess anything to make it a little bit more balanced would be a good thing, but who knows. Now, number 7, this is another really interesting bullet point, but it's talking about the speedrunning community of this game and their whole like attitude towards like glitches in the game.
So basically the little kind of like speedrunner tricks to get through the game quicker. I mean, those are things that is kind of tricky to reproduce. Like a fan actually approached me after the stage show and asked about like whether we bring back glitches where you could use shortcuts in the level and all this kind of stuff. And we just look at it case by case. If it doesn't break the game or if it's not a problem or something, and if it's really hard to execute for some speedrunner or somebody, I think it's okay to leave it in, but it's really case by case discussion. Obviously, an average player shouldn't be able to accidentally run up somewhere and then be like, oh, where am I? Why am I here? Mm-hmm. Especially since you can change character. So you've got 3 characters and they can reach different parts of the level. If with Patrick you grab the Freezy fruit, which we passed earlier, and you throw it on the goo, then the goo freezes and you can walk on it. Mm-hmm. With Sandy, so you can also only do that with Patrick. Mm-hmm. And with Sandy you have her lasso and you can lasso your way across the level. So there, obviously, if there was a glitch in the old one that allowed you to go somewhere where you shouldn't with another character, then we will likely try to avoid it. But this particular thing, I think...
I can say there's actually been some real debate about this because I'm personally a speedrunning fan. And I like to watch speedruns, and I enjoy that community a lot. And I guess our feeling is we're not intentionally making the game glitchy. And that's safe to say. But I'm sure that no matter what, speedrunners being what they are, they will find a way to break things wide open, and it might be a new route for them. It might be a new system of speedrunning for it. But we're inside the team. We have a wide variety of personalities in this kind of thing. So,
But it's just cool that you at all like you're aware of the speedrunning community and that you like looking at this kind of stuff from requests, you know.
And so the developers, to summarize, basically said that while they do understand that like the speedrun community is a really big thing and they do keep an eye on it and it's something that's a very interesting discussion in their development, they're generally not going to purposely put glitches into the game because, you know, that just isn't like a logical thing to do as a developer. However, they are saying that like if there are some glitches that are difficult to get access to, you would not be able to just randomly get into it as like a random casual player, then they will consider leaving that in the game. They're kind of just doing it by case basis, and I think it's cool that they at least know that the speedrun community is a really big reason why this game is so popular. I mean, obviously Shift is a really major player in the game along with whoever else has jumped onto the train, but they do know about the speedrunning community and they are looking into how to kind of engage that community as well. But I will say also that speedrunners will always find a way to break a game, you know. They may think that this game is going to be perfect and not going to have any glitches, but I guarantee you when this game comes out, there will be glitches and the speedrunners will exploit them. So yeah. At number 8, this is something I find to be really cool, but For Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is 100% made from the ground up. And so it's not like some remastered thing, it's like completely remade from the ground up. And the really cool thing is that they're doing a side-by-side comparison. And so they're making sure that everything that they make in the remake is side-by-side similar to the original one. And you can definitely tell, like looking at gameplay footage of Jellyfish Fields from GamesCom, that this is the same level. Like this is the same layout, it's the same everything, it's just got some more things added to it, and it definitely looks different too. And so I think it's really good. It's really important to make sure that you maintain that with any remake, and so it looks like Purple Lamp Studios and THQ Nordic both understand the importance of doing that. Now number 9 is about future SpongeBob games. So this is one of the questions that was asked for the team about future SpongeBob games, whether it be like brand new ones or like more remix.
I don't know, have you ever been thinking or talking about other SpongeBob games you would make afterwards? I mean, or is it at least possible?
What I can take from the studio perspective is that we are really focusing all of our attention on this one right now and making sure. I mean, we're not a gigantic studio, and we have a big team on this working on it, and all of our attention is going on that. In the future, you know, certainly I wouldn't be opposed to doing more of them. I can say that safely. But we'll just have to... I can neither confirm nor deny.
It just depends on the fans. It always depends on the fans, and you know, this is a first step. It's the first time people, like actual human beings, can step into a booth, grab the controller, and jump around and give us the first impression. So far, I mean, if I look out there, it's very positive. But it's always, you know, first things first. First things, we make this it's a gigantic task to make this the game that it deserves to be. And then obviously we hope that we can do more. I think the movie game is probably referencing the one about the first SpongeBob movie. Mm-hmm. It might be that one.
Yeah, I think that's the one they mean.
Yeah.
The one right after this one, right?
Yeah. So it really depends. On this one, there's a bit of legal mumbo jumbo that the movie is actually from Paramount and the other games are from Nickelodeon. But it just depends. Like currently, we're focusing all our energy on this because it is, you know, it's a masterpiece that, you know, you need to very carefully restore. And you know, but we have a team that now is, you know, focusing their whole attention, their whole energy into this kind of franchise. So once you've done this, you've taken a big step that hopefully helps you in the future to do something more if the players say like, come on, I want more, give me more.
And so they talked about the fact that like it really depends on the fans. It was a very generic and broad answer, so we really didn't get much, but we at least got the confirmation that there is a possibility for more SpongeBob games like this as long as the fans ask for it. And so they even went out of the way to like mention the movie game and said that like if fans really want the movie game and as long as they could like obtain the licensing rights for it, then they could remake that one as well. So it's something that they didn't confirm or deny, but it's like they didn't deny it at least. So it's something that is like in the realm of possibilities, and that's a very interesting topic, and I definitely want to talk more about that in the future. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention is the fact that they are targeting 60 FPS for this game, which I was kind of hoping they would do, because, you know, with a remake, I think it's a really great opportunity to make it run smoother and just, you know, make it a much better experience. And so 60 FPS is definitely an important thing, and I definitely think that's possible for this game. It's not like this game is like a racing game or like, I don't know, some game that has a lot of other things going on at the same time where like 60 FPS may just not be feasible. I totally think that Bikini Bottom can hit 60 FPS because it's a relatively simple game compared to other games, which is not bad. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I was able to glean out of the developer interviews. If there was anything that I had missed, then please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, just so we have everything that we need in terms of like what we know about this game for the developers. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts about everything that we learned here. Do y'all like what you heard so far? Do y'all not like it? Let me know why or why not in the comment section below. There's definitely a lot of things that like I'm happy about, you know, like for example, I'm happy that like we're getting even more cut content like Patrick's stream or like Glove World, but at the same time, I'm a little bit iffy about the whole voice acting thing. Like, I don't know how I feel about them just reusing the old voice actors. Like, maybe they'll reconsider in the future, but it doesn't look like that's gonna change. And yeah, that's just a lot of different things to think about in terms of this game. So let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Okay, everyone, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future. Follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to my Patreon/YouTube members: Reese Gaming, Teen Sonic Rival Gamer, Carmine Grasso, Blitz Productions, Andrew Coughlin, and Glitch Dolphin. If you'd like to become a patron or a YouTube member and get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then check out the links in the description box below. But alright, everyone, this is Riders riding out.